Hello and welcome everyone. This is your host Zach. Today we're at Silverstone for the RWB GT4 series. Last week we were at the Hungaroring. A lot of really good racing. We were following Tier 1. Today we're Tier 2, but don't let that fool you. These guys are absolute pros. A lot of really good competitive times right now. We're just finishing up qualifying. We have about 8 minutes, 48 seconds left. A lot of good times up in the 210 range. Really quick here at Silverstone. Track conditions are 20C ambient, 21C on the track. We have some clouds moving in. Track is green, so not a lot of rubber on that track. Probably times are going to start coming down as the track moves on, but we'll just have to wait and see. Silverstone is approximately 90 minutes north of London and about an hour south of Birmingham. Silverstone is declared the British Home Racing. This is a Grade A FIA circuit, which can be morphed into 9 other circuit layouts. So a lot of different options here. It just takes a few cones and tire walls to be removed to completely change it up. It also houses a infield rallycross and motocross circuit. Silverstone has a 3.6 miles or 5.8 kilometers for your UOs. 17 turns, 9 of those are right-handers, 8 are left-handers. 16 won't have names. We have 1 inverted parabolica, 1 SS section, 1 chicane, 1 hairpin, and 4 straights. A lot of high speeds here at Silverstone. Downforce is a very big play, so a lot of really good racing coming our way. Silverstone was previously a Royal Air Force Silverstone home to the Wellington Bomber training for night flight during the World War II in 1943. By 1948, after being decommissioned and after a few unofficial events, Silverstone started its life as an official racing circuit with organized events. BRDC acquired the land in 1961 and has remained influential in the direction of Silverstone circuit since after formally purchasing the land from the MOD in 1971. Their current president is David Coulthard. The vice president for life was Sir Sterling Moss, who sadly died in April 2020 at the age of 90. The track has undergone many subtle changes over the years. Its most recent in 2011, where the new pits have been created in between Copse and Abbey. So we have 6 minutes, guys, left in this section. So we have Johan Peterson. He's driving the Porsche. His best lap right now is a 2-minute, 10-second, 0.8. Johan, he got 7 points of the last race, so he didn't even get in the top 10, but he's looking really strong here. He placed 25 the last race. The next guy is Rigel. He placed position 1 at the Hungaroring. Now he's also in the Porsche with those RWB colors. Absolute awesome live. You can really see those reflections here at Silverstone. Next, we have Karen London, and I apologize if I butcher your names, guys. I'm gonna really try really hard. Just let me know the Discord, and I'll try to correct it. But I'm gonna do my best. So we have Kay London in the McLaren, did a 2:11.8 last lap. Next, we have Pinpoint, who is driving the Aston Martin, all white colors, did a 2:12 last lap. Next, in P6, currently Tom Proctor. He's also in the Aston Martin, a very popular choice. Very easy to drive, really fun car, and it's really competitive, a lot of different tracks here. Next, we have RW Audi. A lot of you guys know him. He's driving the Camaro, a new truck car to the ACC series. American built, one of my favorites, absolutely screaming car. Lets you know that it's mad, pretty quick, very competitive. Next in P10, we have Matt Tarbuck. He's in the Aston Martin, the green Aston Martin. He did a 2:12 last lap. Next in P11, we have Mark Bean, did a 2:12. He is in the Aston Martin. P12, we have Al Gardner, another RWB member, a lot of us know, did a 2:12 last lap. Carlos Barros, another quick guy. A lot of you guys might recognize him from the RST League, typically in the top 10. Just to prove how many competitive guys here in the Tier 2. A lot of really good racing. Really excited for this Silverstone race. But he is in the McLaren this race. He's in P13 and he did a 2:12 last lap. Next in P14, we have Darren Mulland, who is in the Aston Martin red and black livery, did a 2:12 last lap. Next in P15, we have Mohamed Corolla. He's in the McLaren with the green livery, did a 2:12.7 last lap. Next, another RWB in the Ginetta. is RWB Beer. He's in the pits right now, but he did a 2:12 last lap. Track is probably starting to get a little gripped in, so a lot of these guys are probably going to start looking into making setup adjustments to try to, get in that balance right where they can get the car to get, nice turn in, get early on the throttle, and get a good lap time here. Qualifying here at Silverstone is important, but a lot of places to pass, a lot of long straights. So I think there'll be a lot of good racing, a lot of spreading out. Next, in P17, we have Brandon Warren, who's in the BMW. Did a 2:12 last lap, and he's 3/10 up this lap. Next, we have RWB Gunpowder. He's in P18, and he is in the Porsche. Next, we have Andy Holler. He is in P19 right now. He is also in the Mercedes. So I think the first Mercedes that we've seen on the grid. I believe the Mercedes is going to be very competitive here. It has a very large engine. A lot of these straights are really going to play to the cars that have longer legs, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next in P20, we have Xavier Eugene. He did a 2:13 last lap. He's in the BMW M4. In P21, we have Gotham Srivasan. I apologize if I'm butchering your name, guys. I'll try to get better as the league goes on. But he's in P21. He's in the Aston Martin with the gold livery. Absolutely gorgeous livery. He did a 2:13 last lap. Next in P22, we have RWB Alwyn. Next in P23, we have Greenamine, one of the Americans in RWB. RWB caters. RWB is an international league. We have people all over the globe. But Greenamine is American. He is driving the Camaro, so it's only fitting. He's in P23 right now. Did a 2:13 last lap. Next in P24, my former RST League teammate who's driving the Porsche right now. We have FX. He's in P24 right now. Did a 2:13, but he's 4/10 up, so he's probably going to make some positions up in the next few laps or two. Next, we have in P25 Jixer. He's in the Porsche. Did a 2:13.4 last lap. Next, in P26, we have BGB British. Did a 2:13 last lap. He's in the McLaren. Next, in P27, we have Jonas Bergevist. He's in P27. He did a 2:13.5 last lap. He is 3/10 up and he's driving the BMW M4. In P28, we have Surrey. He's in P28. He is in the Aston Martin. He did a 2:13.7 last lap. In P29, we have Damon Wilk. He is in the pits. He's driving the Aston Martin. He did a 2:14 last lap. Again, probably going to see some late pace here near the end. In P30, we have Antonio Agoreta. He's in P30. He's in the Aston Martin, and he did a 2:14 last lap. And to follow it up, we have Lee Cushing in P31 in the BMW, and he did a 2:14 last lap, but he is almost a full second up right now, so we're going to see him gain a few positions here. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering, ACC traditionally a GT3 sim. Today we're in the GT4s. They were recently released, but a lot of you are probably wondering what's the difference here. What's the difference between these GT3 cars and these GT4 cars? And the main difference is the amount of grip they're going to produce. GT3 cars, you're going to see on the Pirellis at about 28 psi. They have a lot more downforce, so they're going to produce about 2 Gs out of those tires. So two times their body weight essentially in the corners. Whereas these GT4 cars, they don't have as much downforce. They rely more on mechanical grip. So they're only going to get about 1.5 Gs out of that tire. And what that results is in a lap time of a GT3 car around here is about 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Here we're seeing about 2 minutes, 10 seconds. So about 10 seconds slower than the GT3 cars. These cars are a lot of fun to drive, a lot of dancing on the limit. So it's going to be a really close race, a lot of, maybe some door-to-door action. But that is going to end the qualifying, guys. So let's look at the top, top 10. In P1, we have Johan in the Porsche. P2, RWB Rigel is also in the Porsche. P3, we have Thomas Wardman, who is in the McLaren. In P4, we have Kieran London. He is in the McLaren. P5, we have Pinpoint, who's in the Aston Martin. In P6, we have Darren Moland, who's in the Aston Martin. In P7, we have RWB Isaacs, who's in the Mercedes. In P8, we have Ronnie Rocket, who is in P8. P9, we have Tom Proctor, who is in the Aston Martin. P11, Mark Bean, P12 RWB Audi, who's in the Camaro. P13 we have Gixxer, who's in P13 in the Porsche. P14 we have Carlos Barros, who is in the McLaren. P15 Matt Tarbuck, who's in the Aston Martin. Al Gardner in P16, he is in the Aston. P17 we have Brandon Warren in the BMW. RWB Deere in the P8 position, P18 position in the Jannetta. One of the only Jannettas on the grid. And then P19 we have Andy Haler Debug, he's in the Mercedes. RWB Gunpowder, who's in P20. And then P21 Yaver Eugene, he is in the BMW. Gautam Srivastava, he is in P22, he's in the Aston Martin. He's 3/10 up. I'm not sure if that is going to count. We'll have to see and wait and see if he gains a few positions. P23 we have Jonas Bergqvist. He is in P24. He is in the BMW. P25 RWB Alvin. He is in the Aston Martin. Greedymine, he's in P26. Camaro Antonio Goretta, he's in P27. He is in the Aston Martin. P28 RWB FX UK. He is in P29 in the Porsche. Surrey, he's in P30 in the Aston Martin. And Damien Newhook in P31 to finish it off in the Aston Martin. So a pretty interesting grid layout here. We have some of the Porsches in the top, some of the McLarens in the top. I think those are probably going to be the most two competitive cars here. But we'll have to see what the track conditions are and how the grid spreads up as the race goes on. So I apologize for my mic, guys. We'll have to see if the mic gets better. I'll take a quick look between the transition from qualifying to race. We have had some technical difficulties with Discord today. For some reason, it's been breaking up a little bit. But just bear with us. We'll try to make do with what we got, and hopefully it's an enjoyable race. All right, guys, I have messed with my mic just a little bit. Hopefully this sounds a little bit better. Please let me know in the YouTube chat. If not, I'll try to play with it a little bit as the race goes on. But right now, we have 1 minute, 50 seconds until this race starts. A lot of these drivers are going to be looking at setups. The conditions right now are 21C ambient, 23 track. Looks like some clouds, some overcast. We don't have any rain forecasted in the next 30 minutes. But with the high cloud cover and the low ambient temperatures, we could see some rain here at the end. 75-minute race. The drivers do have to pit. They have to make it one mandatory pit stop. The pit stop is up to their choosing. They do not have to take tires. They can extend if they want to on the tires that they have. Or if they're trying to get some late race pace, they can swap all four tires and, help that delta as the race goes on. They do have to take at least 1 liter of race fuel. So you're going to see a lot of different strategies here. Some guys are going to, take half fuel load now. Some people might take a full fuel load and just do a splash and go as the race starts. So a lot of different strategies. We're going to have to see what plays out. The last race at the Hungaroring, we had a good mixture. Hungaroring's a little bit tighter of a course, a lot more twisty corners, not as wide straights. So we did see a lot more people doing the undercut when they hit traffic. They pitted to get around traffic. I'm not sure how we're going to see here. We're going to have to wait and see. We will be able to see when they've pitted. So if you look at the stream, that one next to their number, that'll go green once they have pitted. So you'll be able to see who has taken a pit and who's doing the undercut strategy versus who's extending. But we'll have to see. 25 seconds left in this race before this race starts. You're going to start hearing these guys start their engines up. We got the two Porsches on the front line, two McLarens on the second row. So we'll have to see how this grid spreads out when the race starts. Awesome. I'm glad my mic is good. It's always technical difficulties, a lot of challenging things going on this morning, but I'm glad it sounds better for you guys. If you guys do have any questions, please let me know. I do have the YouTube chat pulled up, and we'll try to address that. So we are starting the race, guys. We're going to go to the helicam to get a good overview of what's going on here. Formation is they're going to come right now through the little field. They're going to go green, and then they're going to take off. All right, race has started, guys. Going into Abby's corner. Pretty good start from both the Porsches and the McLaren. They're both pretty much holding to their rows respectively, but we'll have to see what happens when they get into Village. When the McLarens goes wide, I think that was T. Wardman. Rigel made a move through the Village, got into from P2 into P1, so Rigel's now leading the pack. Really, absolutely beautiful grid. Very first few corners in lap one. It's always challenging. You never know what kind of incidents are going to happen, but a very clean first lap. Coming up into... That was Luffield. We're going to be coming up to Cops. Cops is a very tricky corner. Let's follow on board with Rigel so we can see the first few laps. And it looks like Rigel's starting to get a little bit of a gap. He's got a 3/10 gap behind him and Johan Peterson. These Porsches look very strong here. You know, very good car. It's actually a mid-engine car, not like most Porsches. So very good weight balance and has really good BOP here on the straights here. You can really see it stretch its legs. Let's go next on board with Johan, who's following Rigel. We look like we got a really good battle here for P10. We're going to go on by with RWB Isaacs. You can see Donnie Rocket and Tom Proctor right now fighting for P9 and 8. We'll have to see when they go into cups who's able to get on that throttle nice and early. Ronnie Rocket went a little bit wide there, had to get off the throttle. I was able to Isaacs to get that position there. Going on to Hangar Straight, one of the longer straights here at Silverstone. I'm getting nice to toe, making a move maybe into Stowe, trying to get it done around the outside. It's going to be pretty hard off-camber turn here. Yeah, just didn't have the throttle to get around there. Really hard position. But he is on the inside coming into club. And it looks like Tom Proctor was able to get a very good exit out of club into Abby's. Oh, and it looked like some contact from behind. Forced one of the McLarens to go wide there with Carlos Barros. Let's rewind that 30 seconds and see what was going on. So we're on board with Carlos Barros right now. You can see they just got out of club. 3 wide going into Abby's. Oh, and just went a little bit wide there. I believe that was it's one of the Camaros. It's kind of hard, not a lot of good situational awareness here, but you get to see just went a little bit wide through Abby's there, got collected and had to go off track. Let's go on board with P17. We're going to go Al Gartner. You can see that Camaro. It looks like that was RWB Audi before. He's got a lot of traffic right behind him. Let's go on the Helicam just to get an appreciation for that. You can see those two BMW M4s just in the rear view mirror here. Camaro's going to stretch its legs down this straight here. Oh, and a little bit more contact between the BMW and the McLaren. Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit messy. It's really hard here at Silverstone. A lot of high downforce, a lot of twisty turns. Really easy to go wide and collect people here. But these are professionals. They definitely race clean, but they race hard and they are racing for position. So we're about 2 laps in, and some of the guys at the front, they're doing lap times of about 2:12, 2:11. So really quick pace here, especially when you consider some of these guys are, driving with a higher fuel load. So we'll have to see how the strategies evolve as time goes on. The truck is going to get more rubbered in as time goes on. It's starting out with a fast track, so it's not at the ultimate grip level. It got a little bit of grip from the qualifying session, but as the race evolves, you're going to see these lap times come down. Let's go on board with Tom Proctor, P8. He is fighting Darren Mullen for P7 right now. Tom Proctor just barely pulling ahead through Abby's. You can see Darren right behind him in the Aston Martin on this rearview mirror. Going back to the front to P2, Johan Peterson is fighting Rigel for P1 right now. He's right behind him. Last lap he did a 2:11.9. Rigel did a 2:12, so a little bit quicker last lap. Definitely close in gap. Not sure if Rigel had any mistakes or Johan just picked it up in the pace, but these two Porsches are definitely fighting for the top spot. Really easy to go wide here at Abby's corner. You gain a lot of time by being able to keep the throttle planted. See if Johan Peterson can get a good exit here. All right, guys, we are 3 laps into this race. Let's go ahead and start from the top and work our way down. Now that the grid has spread out a little bit, let's see what position everyone is in. So starting with your pole sitter right now, we have RWB Rigel. He's in P1. He's in that Porsche, followed closely behind Johan Peterson, who's also in the Porsche. He's in P2. P3, we have Kieran London. He's in the McLaren. He's in P3. He is looks like about 2.5 seconds behind the front runners, the front two. Definitely seems like the Porsche is a strong car here, but the McLaren is not too far behind. P4, we have Thomas Wardman. He's in McLaren. P5, we have Mohamed Corolla. He is in the McLaren as well. So 3 McLarens in the, the top P3, P4, and P5. So a very competitive car here. P6, we have Pinpoint. He's in the Aston Martin. He did a 2:13 last lap. P7, we have Tom Proctor, who has Darren Mullen right on his tail in P8. He's about, what is that? Like 1/10 behind him. He looks like he's going to make a move on the inside or on the outside here. It's really going to be hard to make an outside through Stowe. It's a very hard corner. You can lose a lot of grip if you carry too much speed through there. Let's watch these guys just for a little bit to see if any moves are made. And you got to know Tom Proctor is feeling the pressure through here. All right, in P9, we have RWB Isaacs, who's in the Mercedes. He did a 2:12.7 last lap, so pretty quick pace. He's in that battle between Tom Proctor and Darren Mullen. That battle between Tom Proctor and Mullen is definitely going to slow them down. Maybe allow Isaac to catch up and make a move up in the next few laps or two. In P10, we have Ronnie Rocket. He's in the M4. He's in P10, and he did a 2:13.9 last lap. In P11, we have Matt Tarbuck. He is in the Aston Martin. Did a 2:14.9 last lap. He's in P12. Next in P13, we have Mark Bean, who is in the Aston Martin, the orange Aston Martin. He has Andy Haler right behind him. So Debug, he's in P13. He did a 2:14.3 last lap. Really good battle right here between Carlos Barros, Andy Haler, and Mark Bean going into Brooklands. Mark Bean was able to take the inside on the exit here. And Debug has Carlos Barros right behind him in that McLaren. Andy is in the Mercedes. He did a 2:14.2 last lap. He's in P14, but he's in this three-way battle for P13. P15, we have Carlos Barros. He's in McLaren on the tail of Debug here. Looks like he's going to make a move on the inside. Just right behind Debug, the Mercedes. Just gonna see, he might get a good draft here on the straight. This is a really long straight here. Let's stay tuned in and watch. Mark Bean goes a little bit wide here, and that plays into Debug's hands. Carlos Barros also takes the position. Unfortunate, looked like Mark Bean went a little bit wide and lost 2 positions there. Next in P16, we have RWB Alwyn. He's in the Aston Martin. He did a 2:13.4 last lap. See if he'll play to the advantage of these guys battling up here and make some ground. P17, we have RWB Audi. He is in the Camaro. He got in that early incident. It looks like he did not pit, so he maybe didn't have enough damage to need a pit, but he did lose a few positions. He's in P17. He did a 2:12.9 last lap, so a pretty quick pace. Still a long race ahead, so he's just going to have to put his head down and turn laps. P18, we have Al Gartner in the Aston Martin. Kind of on his own right now. He did a 2:13.8 last lap. Next in P19, we have Xavier Eugene. He is in P19. He did a 2:14 flat last lap. He's in the BMW. He has RWB right here behind him. He's in the Jetta. Only Jetta on the grid right now. Love seeing that car. Right-hand drive car. Really fun car to drive. If you haven't, check it out. But Beer is sitting in P20 right now. P21, we have Damien Wilk. He's in the Aston Martin. He did 2:14 last lap. P22, we have BGB British. He did a 2:12.9 last lap. He's in the McLaren. P23, we have Gotham Servison. He did a 2:13.9 last lap. He's in P23. He has Johannes Bergevist right behind him. He is in P24. He's in the M4. And he has Antonio Guarda right behind him, who's driving the Aston Martin. The black Aston Martin. He did a 2:13.7 last lap. P26, we have Greedemean, who is in the Camaro. He has Gixxer, who is in the Porsche, right behind him. These two battling, both from America. Um, should be good racing. Next we have RWBFX. He's in P28. He did a 2:15.6 last lap. He is also in the Porsche with the RWB colors. P29 Lee Cushing. He's in P29. P30 we have Surrey Ragnithmon. He's in P30 in the Aston Martin. And to follow it up, we have in P31 RWB Gunpowder. He did a 2:13.9 last lap, and he is in the RWB colored Porsche. So a lot of good racing here. Let's try to find a battle. But the grid is definitely starting to spread out. It's still a fast track. Temperatures really haven't changed. Still have an hour left, so a lot of racing. Haven't seen any pit stops yet, but they're definitely going to be coming soon. Going back to the front, guys. Rigel and Johan still been at it this whole time. Johan is about 4/10 behind Rigel, but really good battle through here for the position. Looks like Johan maybe trying to make a move through maggots. It's really hard to make a position change though. Just not a lot of room to change your line. Really easy to mess it up, and it does look like Johan maybe went a little bit wide on the exit. It's definitely going to cost him down here on this straight. Let's go on board with RWB Isaac, who is in P9 right now. Looks like he's going to get the position. That was Darren Moland taking P7 from Tom Proctor, who's in P8 right now. Isaac running a little bit wide there, really battling for that position with Tom Proctor. Just look how close these guys are racing. You know Tom Proctor can hear that AMG engine screaming right behind him. Getting onto the Wellington straight, looks like Tom Proctor was able to overtake Darren. Maybe went a little bit wide there, so now it's a three-way battle for P7. And I can't help but wonder what these strategies are for these guys. You know, racing really close door to door like this is really hard on your tires. If they're trying to make these tires last, they're definitely probably going to have to switch up their strategy. But it looks like Darren's going to try to make a move around the outside around Tom Proctor. Tom gets a little bit unstable. He goes wide. Darren definitely has the acceleration out of cops. And we see Isaac's making the move up here too. Isaac's backs out. Darren pulls ahead. He's on the inside. And Isaac's getting a little bit of pressure from Ronnie Rocket now. What a move by Darren. Tom just got a little bit loose on the exit there, and it really cost him dearly. Ronnie Rocket on the inside. Ronnie taking the inside out of Club. This is going to really help him get a good acceleration onto Abby's. And now Isaacs is being pressured from B. Warren. Takes the inside out of Abby. A little bit of contact there. Forces Isaacs off the road. Gonna cost him a position or two. K London is on the inside into Village. And K London gets it done. Makes the pass on the inside onto the Wellington straight. Isaac lost a position or two from that contact on the outside of Abby's. These guys are definitely racing hard. A lot of clean passes, but yeah, they're definitely racing for position right now. Let's go on board with Guillermo Silverstone in P22. Looks like he has he's battling BGB British for P21 right now. Gotham did a 2:13 flat last lap. BGB British did a 2:13.3. British is in the McLaren, so a fairly strong car here. We'll see if they have to close this gap. And Gotham getting a good draft on BGB British. Just need a little bit more straight to make it happen. He's looking on the outside of Stowe. Had a lift to avoid a little bit of contact there. Go on the rearview mirror of BGB British. You can see how close they're racing. The Assens is directly right behind him. Looks like we have had some people pit, guys. RWB Audi, he's in P28 right now. He has pitted. You can tell because his by his name in the stream, you can see that green checkbox that notates that he has done his one mandatory pit. So it looks like he's trying to do the undercut. So is FX. Not sure if they got damaged at the beginning of the race or they're trying the undercut strategy. But that's definitely going to play in their advantage. There's 52 minutes left in the race. Still cloudy, but in the next 30 minutes, there's no rain forecasted. So I hope they don't get rain. That might mess it with their strategy if they've already got dry tires. If they need wets near the end, that's really going to kind of hurt them, kind of put them at a disadvantage. But it's a gamble, and we'll have to see if it plays out in their favor. Track is now optimum. Fully rubbered in. Lap times at the top leaderboards are about 2:11, 2:10. So we have seen about a second increase in lap times. They'll probably maintain here. I would imagine they'd fall off a little bit as the tires wear, but not too much because the fuel load will get lower, which will definitely help. Going back on board with RWB Rigel, him and Johan Peterson are still fighting for P1 right now. It's going to be a very stressful race for Rigel. Rigel, last race, I believe he, at the Hungaroring, again, we covered the Tier 1 league. Looking at the Tier 2 results, Rigel did place P1 last race, so he's looking to defend his championship points. Johan definitely looking to score. It looks like he, P25 for Johan Peterson last race, so he's eager to get that P1 position. These cars are absolutely beautiful. The Porsche is so much fun to drive. They came in so much different than the 911. Definitely looks really glued here at Silverstone on blonde board. And it looks like Rigel went a little bit wide there. Got off the throttle. Johan definitely making a move here. Let's go to Helicam. Watch him going into Maggots. Johan Peterson able to take the inside. Rigel goes a little bit wide. That cost him dearly. We now have a lead change. Johan's in P1. And I'm not sure if there was some contact there. Johan let up and let RWB Rigel back through. Not sure if we missed some contact there, but absolutely amazing racecraft if so. They definitely been battling all race, so, you know, to see someone get back in position like that after they've been battling all race, that's, you know, really commendable, and it speaks really volumes to RWB as an organization. Let's go back on board with Darren Mullen, who's battling, looks like Pinpoint for P5 right now. They're on the Wellington hangar straight going into Stowe. Darren on the inside of Pinpoint. Looks like he gets it done. Pinpoint's going to be on the inside going into Village, though. Yeah, Pinpoint on the inside going into Club. Darren doing the switchback, taking the inside out of Club onto Abbey Straight. What a great move. Going on board, it looks like Tom Proctor is right behind Pinpoint as well, trying to take advantage of these two fighting for position. Pinpoint sending it on the outside out of Corpse, goes wide, has to let up. Let's go back to Helicam here. Really good battle. Getting onto the Wellington straight. Pinpoint is on the outside. He's in the grass. Looks like Ronnie Rocket's going to take that P6 position now. Going into Brooklands. Really close four-way battle right now for P6. Little bit of contact. Pinpoint's on the inside. He gets spun. That's going to hold up Tom Proctor. Ronnie Rocket was able to get around the outside. That's going to cost Pinpoint dearly. Goes on the inside into the pits, though. Must have took a little bit of damage there. He's going to go ahead and get that mandatory pit stop out of the way. Looks like Matt Tarbuck also went into the pits. It looked like he may have gotten involved a little bit of contact there, so he might have paid out some damage as well. No rain for the next 30 minutes, so I don't. This is probably going to play in their advantage. Probably not going to take tires. Probably fix the repair and do a little splash and go. Getting back on board with Tom Proctor at this basically a four-way battle for P7. We have Tom Proctor in P7. He's in the black Aston. Brandon Warren in P8. He's in the BMW. We have Kieran Luden, who's in the McLaren. He's in P9. And RWB Isaac, who's in that white Mercedes that's in the back there. And McLaren and Karen London, this is all over Brandon Warren. You can really tell that McLaren has a little bit of advantage here, a little bit lower weight. He takes the outside. He's going to set him up on the inside, but Brandon Warren shuts the door. Karen London, a little bit of contact with Isaacs there. That's going to hold him up. So now it's just a two-way battle for P7 between Tom Proctor and Brandon Warren. Tom Proctor going a little bit wide there. It's going to cost him a little bit. He's still on the inside out of the exit onto the Wellington straight, so that's definitely going to help him. Coming into Brooklands, still a really good battle here. Brandon Warren's on the outside. It's a little bit too far to make a move happen. Brandon's going to take the outside here. It's going to force Tom Proctor to take a little slower exit here. Brandon goes wide, though. It's going to cost him on the exit. Got to be really careful on the exit, of course, there. It's really easy to pick up a track warning here. You can only get 3 track warnings in ACC. Takes it outside, gets it done, gets around Tom Proctor. Tom goes a little bit wide into the gravel. Isaac's going to take advantage of this. Looks like Isaac backed out just a little bit to avoid contact. RWB Beer just got a drive-through. Looks like maybe he got too many track warnings, 3 track warnings, and you get a drive-through here. Drive-through at Silverstone's pretty crippling. Not sure how long the pit window is, but it does not count as your mandatory pit. So RWB Beer is going to have to have a drive-through. It's probably going to cost him about a minute, and then he's going to have to come point at a later point to do his mandatory pit. Let's go back on board with Johan Peterson. He's battling RWB Rigel for the lead right now. And it almost makes me wonder if Johan is trying to play a smart game here. I think he realizes that him and Rigel have the same pace. So maybe what Johan is trying to do is just kind of sit back, apply pressure to Rigel, but just keep his calm. See if Rigel can force a mistake with Rigel or preserve his tires. Yep, you are correct, Mike. It's 3 track warnings, and then on the 4th one, so technically you do get 4, it is the drive-through. So you get 3 warnings and 3 strikes, then you're out. Similar rules to baseball. Going back on board with RWB Isaac. Going to go back to this battle for P8, 9, and 10. Really close. Looks like Tom Proctor is pressuring Brandon Warren right now. Tom Proctor is going into the pits. He's going to take his mandatory pit stop here. It's going to give RWB all-win P8. Let's go on board with P17, Damien Wilk, applying pressure to Kieran London, who's in P16 in the McLaren. Looks like we have someone coming out of the pits. Not sure who it is. Situational awareness isn't too good. It's going to get around him, though. Let's go on board with Kieran Luden, sorry. So applying pressure to Xavier Eugene for that P14 position. It's about 4/10 that separate these 2 cars right now. Track is starting to warm up. It's 22C ambient, 25C track, so times will probably start to slow down a little bit. Easier to wear those tires. So I'd imagine we'll start seeing a lot of people coming into pits pretty soon. Let's go on board with Andy Haler, D-Buck, who is applying pressure to Carlos Barros right now. Oh, someone spun. It looked like RWB Isaacs had spun right there on the exit or into Village here. Andy is going to take the inside onto the Wellington straight. That's really going to help him get a run out here. Carlos Barros is a little bit wide. He had to back off not to go off track, and Andy's going to get it done in the Mercedes. He's in P9 now. Mark Beam making a move on the inside through Carlos Barros. We're going to go back onto the leaders right now. They're only a 10th that separate them. Johan is definitely applying to the pressure to Rigel. Neither have pitted yet. You can notate that. They still have a 1 next to their name. That means they still have to come in for their mandatory pit. do have some wind now. Silverstone's picked up a little bit of wind. It's about 2 kilometers an hour, so it shouldn't play an effect. These cars, they don't play as much to the downforce, so it doesn't really affect them as much as it would the GT3 cars. But these track conditions are definitely evolving. Going on board with Johan Peterson. Oh, and someone in the grass on the left-hand side. Not sure who that was. Not a lot of good situational awareness with the broadcasting tool. It'll be very interesting what strategy these guys could take. I'm very curious if Johan is waiting for Rigel to come into the pits and then try to push to take a position on the track, but we'll just have to wait and see. We're going to go on board with Xavier Eugene. Feeling the pressure from RWB Alwyn right behind him in that Aston Martin. Aston Martin, a very popular car choice here. Very fun car to drive. Very easy to drive at the limit. Very competitive car. Definitely seen them doing fairly well here today. Eugene's in the BMW M4, which is also a really good car here, but I think it's going to have a little bit of trouble with the tires. We'll have to wait and see, though. And RWB Beer has come in for his drive-through, so he's going to come through. Going to cost him about a minute, and then he's going to have to come out and do his mandatory pit stop again. So we're going to see him lose a few positions, unfortunately. Looks like Damien Wilk and Gotham have come into their pits. They're doing their mandatory pits right now. See where they come out in the track order. Damien Wilk is on the outro right now. Looks like he's going to lose a few positions. Looks like he's going to come out around P22, P23. You can see half the grid is about done their pit stops now. So we're definitely starting to see people switch take them to the end of the race. So Damien Wilk did his pit stop. He dropped down to about P21. And no, P15 just got a drive-through. That's Antonio Guarda. He is in the Aston Martin. He just got a drive-through, so that's going to cost him a few positions. Also, he's going to have to do his mandatory pit, so he's going to lose a few because of that, unfortunately. Definitely going to start seeing as the race goes on, the drive-throughs and track warnings become more of an issue. Very easy to pick up a track warning here at Silverstone. Like we said, we only get 3, and then the 4th one, you have to come through the drive-through. Costs about a minute. Definitely going to start seeing that play more of an effect, though, as the race comes to a close. And Johan Peterson has just come into the pits. He pitted before RWB Rigel, so I'm wondering if he thought that Rigel is holding him up. I'm wondering if he's trying to do the undercut strategy and gain a position after Rigel comes in. Let's see where this puts him coming out of the pit stop where. So he's going to come out in P4, it looks like. So P2 and P3 have not pitted so far. We're going to have to see how this delta between RWB Rigel and Johan comes out. But that's definitely going to be one to watch, guys. It was about 2 tenths to 3 tenths that separated them when Johan Peterson came into the pits. Let's go back to around P10. Mark Bean feeling the pressure from Eugene now. London sending it on the entrance into club. You can definitely tell that McLaren has really good brakes. It's definitely able to close the gap into the braking zone. Maybe suffers a little bit on the straights, but not too bad. And no, Antonio Guarda in P20, he just served that drive-through. He just got a stop and go, 30-second stop and go. He probably let go of that pit limiter just a little bit too soon through his drive-through, and he got another penalty. Unfortunately for him, that's going to cost him dearly. You know he's feeling frustrated right now. He's just going to have to put his head down, keep doing laps, and you never know when someone else, you might gain a few positions because someone going off track, but really disheartening for him, really feel for him. Eugene feeling that pressure from London. Let's go follow and see how close these two are racing. You can see that McLaren just right on his tail. And you just gotta, oh, Kara London just getting a little bit loose through there. Able to keep a hold of it though, but you know that's going to be a little bit harder on the tires. As these tires start to wear, you're definitely going to start seeing the cars be a little bit more lively. Grid is definitely starting to spread out quite a bit right now. Now McLaren just absolutely glued to the back of Eugene. Eugene did a 2:15.3 last lap. London did a 2:15.2 last lap. Looks like London trying to get it done. He takes it inside, gets the position. That puts him up into P8. .33 minutes left in the race, guys. Still got plenty of time for racing. Track is optimum grip, absolutely rubbered in. 22 ambient, 25C. So starting to warm up just a little bit through here. As the track conditions, as the temperature rises, that causes the air density to go become less dense. That air expands. These engines, they don't produce as much power, so times slow down just a little bit. Not very noticeable, but it's definitely a common side effect of having a little bit hotter temperatures. And we just got a weather update. In 30 minutes, there is going to be rain. So these guys that did their early pit stops, this might hurt them. It's going to be raining right at the end of the race. We'll have to see how the undercut plays out. Rigel, who has not come in for his pit stop, this might have really played well into his advantage. We're probably going to see a lot of guys hold out for the very end of the race to see how bad the conditions get. But this is going to really switch things up, guys. So let's start from the front and work our way down. RWB Rigel, he is your guy up in P1 right now in the red, blue, and black RWB livery, leading the pack. Thomas Wardman in P2 right now. Darren Mullen in P3. Ronnie Rocket P4. Carlos Barros, he's in P5. Getting a little bit of pressure from Kieran London. Not too bad though. Kieran London is in P6. P7 is Johan Peterson. He was fighting for P1 with RWB Rigel. He was about a tenth or two behind Rigel. He has done his pit stops. We'll have to see if the rain really hurts him, but he's in P7 right now, working his way back. Xavier Eugene, he's in P8. RWB Beer, he's in P9. Greedamine, P10. Johan Bergevist, he's in P11. RWB Audi, he's in P12. Matt Tarbuck's in P13. Mohammed Corolla, he's in P14. Mark Bean, who's in P15. RWBFX, he's up into P16 right now, and he's done his pit stop. So he did an early undercut. It's really played to his advantage. Andy Haller, he's up in P17. He has done his pit. He's in the Mercedes. Brandon Warren, he's in P18. He's in the BMW. He's done his pit. RWB Isaac, he's in P19. He is in the Mercedes. He's done his pit stop. Damian Wilk, he's feeling a little bit of pressure from Gotham, who's in P21. Both of these guys have done their pits. Definitely going to be fighting for the position in these next few laps. Looks like Gotham goes a little bit deeper into the braking zone. Let's see if he can get on the inside out of club. And Damien is just barely able to hold it. It looks like Gotham's going to take the inside through Abby's, though. Oh, and he backs out just a little bit to avoid contact through there. All right, let's resume. In P21, we have Gotham, who's been challenging Damien Wilk for that position. Next, in P22, we have Tom Proctor. He's done his pit stop. He did a 2:13 flat last lap. P23, we have RWB Allwind. He is in P23. He's in the Aston Martin. He has done his pit. Al Gartner, he's in P24. He's done his pit stop. Sergey Ragnathman, he's in P25. He's in the Mercedes. He's done his pit stop. Look, Antonio Goretta, he's in P26. He's gotten 2 penalties. He got a stop and go, 30-second stop and go. He's got a drive-through, and he just left the pit stop on his mandatory pit. So P26 is actually pretty good considering all the bad luck that he's had. P27, we have RWB Gunpowder. It looks like he's coming into the pits. Pinpoint P28, he did a 2:12.7 last lap. He is in the Aston Martin. BGB British, he's up in P28. He did a 2:19.2. And we had Jixer, who was in P30. It looks like he has retired. BGB British also retired. So we have 2 guys that have retired. Considering, you know, it's been an hour-long race so far. That's pretty good considering. A lot of really good racing here, guys. A lot of really hard racing, a lot of clean racing, but they're definitely racing for position. Hope you guys enjoy it, but we still got 28 minutes, so anything could happen. Let's see if we can find a good battle here. Going up to P7, we have Johan definitely working his way back. Everyone in front of him right now, so P1 through 6 still have not done their mandatory pit. We'll have to see where he comes out for RWB Rigel. And Moyes in the chat said, don't think a change to what will be needed. Did that mistake in Tier 1 race. Yeah, so typically with these races, you don't need to pit for tires until you see 2 lines of rain. Considering it says about 30 minutes till rain, and we still have 27 minutes till the race, so it'll be right at the end. Most likely the wet tires will not be needed. So that probably won't throw them off too much, but we'll just have to wait and see. About a 1 second gap between most of these cars now. They're definitely starting to, the accordion effect is definitely starting to come into effect. A lot of these cars have a lot of different BOPs. Some of the cars you see strong here, like the Porsche and the McLaren, they're not as strong as some of the other tracks. Silverstone's a very long track. It is 5.8 kilometers, so it's really easy for these guys to spread out. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Right now, we're watching RWB Rigel and Johannes Peterson. These are the ones to watch, guys. Johan Peterson, who are on board right now in the Porsche, he did the undercut against RWB Rigel. If you haven't been following along, Rigel still have to come in for his mandatory pit, so we'll have to see where Johan places against him. Karen London led Johan Peterson by. He knows that they're not racing for position. Absolute great situational awareness. Lets Johan by so he can chase down the lead. Let's go on board with RWB Isaac. Looks like him, and I think that might be, I'm not sure who actually that is a position against. Probably isn't for position, it's just a back marker, or they're just on different laps. Isaac gets around him though, no problem, no conflict. Going on board with Damien Wilk. He's a little bit behind Gunther, but that is for position, so I'll have to see if this gap closes as time goes on. Eugene coming in for his pit stop now. He's up into P9 right now. See where he comes out. Greedy mean in the Camaro up to P10. Still have to do his mandatory pit though. Still says 30 minutes till the rain comes. Not sure how often that gets updated. We might not even see rain, but we'll have to see. Looks like Rigel has come into the pits, or he already has come into pits. He is up into P4 right now, so Johan is still behind him. Not sure how far behind. We'll have to wait and see till everyone else is pitted. But it looks like Rigel was able to maintain his position as the lead of this race, but we'll have to wait and see. "22 laps in, 24 minutes left. Track temperature is up to 26 C, so we're seeing a little bit of rise in optimum track. And it looks like the forecast just came in, guys. No more rain, so it's just going to be a dry track. So we're just have to watch these guys push to the end. So the majority of the grid has done their mandatory pit stops now. We still have a few guys near the top right now that have not. I believe, again, it's not very easy for me to tell, but I believe a lot of these guys are extending their tires. They're not taking the tire change. They're just doing a splash and go or a half tank and go. So we'll definitely have to ask the guys at the end of the race how they've done on these tires and how it changed as the during of the race. Let's go on board with Debug and Javier Eugene. These guys are fighting for position for P15 right now. Debug is in that Mercedes. He's just slightly behind Xavier here. Let's see if he can make a move in the next few laps. Eugene got Debug about 3/10 back right now. Looks like he's losing a little bit of speed. Probably got a bad exit. They're coming up to Stowe though. The BMW just absolutely sounds fantastic, doesn't it? And RWB Cost in the channel said, "Oh, Rigel pitted," and that is correct. Rigel did pit about 2 laps ago. He did come out in front of Johan Peterson, so it looks like the undercut did not work out for Johan. Maybe he just got held up a little bit into the traffic there. I'm not sure what happened. We'll definitely have to ask him if he makes it onto the podium at the end of the race where we do the post-race interview. But definitely a gamble that didn't play out in his favor. while we watch this battle, guys, we're going to go ahead and talk about our sponsor. So as for some of you that don't know, our sponsor, RWB sponsor for these leagues is RST Racing Sim Tools. I am the founder of Racing Sim Tools, so I'll try not to be too biased. I'll try to keep this brief. What RST is a software solution that brings telemetry data to gamers. These sim racers that takes the engineering out of it, so you don't need to know the math. You don't need to know how to formulate these graphs. Essentially, we train you how to read the graphs. So it's a really good way if you're looking to get into telemetry or you're not sure what type of data to look at. You can't just take raw data and expect to get setup adjustments from that. A lot of times you have to look and format the data in a specific way that tells you setup adjustments. But if you haven't checked out, check out racingsimtools.com. Download the software. It's $15 for a one-time fee if you want to buy one game. If you want to get access to every game, it's $7 a month. For ACC, we are working with Nils, who's a professional esports gamer. He is the manager for Red Bull Racing. He's in the ESRO. We're getting some data so you guys can download that data and compare it in the setup tool so you can see where you're losing time. But be sure to check it out, guys. Again, that's racingsimtools.com. And if you're watching this and you're in the RWB GT4 League, be sure to check out Racing Sim Tools. In the GT4 League, you are entitled, as part of this member of this league, you're entitled to a RST license for ACC, free of charge, just for participating. It looks like D-Bug is trying to make a move into Village. He takes it inside. Let's go on to Helicamp. Eugene has the inside, but it looks like Andy is trying to make the inside onto the Wellington straight. Just a little bit too far back. Eugene closes the door. Absolutely fantastic racing here at Silverstone today. You know Eugene is just feeling that pressure from D-Bug. D-Bug's being a little bit more patient, just keeping on the back end of that M4, just trying to force a mistake here. 18 minutes, so still a lot of time for anything to happen here. Probably near, as we get closer to the race, we're going to see some more aggressive moves, but right now he's just trying to, keep behind him and try to force a mistake. And we do have someone coming out of the pits. I'm not exactly sure who that is. Yeah, we will stay on these two, Sean. A lot of the grid is really spread out, 2-3 second difference between everyone. So we're just going to keep it on these guys. They're definitely fighting hard. They're definitely fighting for position. And D-Bug is on the inside. Let's see who breaks later, who's braver. Eugene just shuts that door. D-Bug is on the inside out of club, but he just gets a little bit loose. It's going to cost him. Xavier, Eugene is just going to pull out going into Abby's. That's a little bit ahead of that Mercedes. Let's go onto the back of Xavier's car. Oh, and someone just took a lot of curve on the inside of their D-Dug and got loose and almost lost the car. Not sure who exactly that is. Let's go on board with D-Bug. You can see how cloudy it's getting here at Silverstone. It says rain in the next 10 minutes, but who knows? Might see some, might not. It's definitely a little bit on the wishy side. Xavier goes a little bit wide through there. D-Bug's got a little bit more acceleration out of Cops. Can really tell that Mercedes has to let off a lot going through maggots and backets compared to that M4. Lap times up at the front right now, we're seeing 2:14, 2:13, so pace has definitely dropped off quite a bit. That's probably due to the tire wear. It's definitely starting to come into effect. A lot of these guys probably didn't change tires in the pit stops. Gotta love that Mercedes AMG engine though, absolutely roaring. Love the German engineering. Eugene get a little bit loose. Debug got a really good exit through here. Let's go to Helicam. Debug on the inside onto the Wellington straight. Eugene gets a little bit wide. Costs him dearly. Debug gets the position done. He's up into P15 now. You can see Eugene, Xavier absolutely just keeping Debug up in that. He's not going to let that off track deter him too much. Debug gets a little bit wide out of cops. It's really going to cost him. It looks like Eugene might make a move up into Maggots and Corpse. Let's see what happens. Xavier just a little bit too far back here. Side by side down the hangar straight. Looks like Eugene got a little bit better of an exit. He pulls up ahead, a little bit of a Debug into Stowe. Andy on the inside going into Club. Pulls back ahead. What a battle between these two cars. All right, we're going to go back and kind of go through the grid real quick. Got 12 minutes left in this race, guys. So up in P1, we have Thomas Wardman. He has not done his mandatory pit yet. He's going to have to come in the next 12 minutes. P2, RWB Rigel. He is your race leader right now. He's done his mandatory pits. He's in P2. Ronnie Rocket, he's in P3. Not done his pit yet. P4, Carlos Barros, he's up in P4. Has not done his pit stop yet. We have Jonas Peterson behind them. He's in line to be P2 right now. Him and Rigel just absolutely been battling all race. Johan did the undercut, did not work out in his favor. Lost a little bit of time. P6, Darren Mulland. P7, RWB Audi. P8, Matt Tarbuck. P9, Mohammed Corolla. P10, Karen London. P11, Mark Bean. P12, RWB Beer. P13, RWB FX. P14, Andy, who's in Debug. He's got the move done on Xavier Eugene. He's about a second up the road now. Isaac now pressuring Xavier Eugene. Wondering if when Eugene went a little bit off track, if that really muddied his tires, because he's losing another position here, possibly. Oh, and Xavier Eugene goes wide through there. I'm really starting to wonder if these tires are not taking tires. It's really starting to come into play now. Going onto hangar straight. Let's see if Isaac can catch up here. Ten minutes left. You know Isaac is really trying to get this position swap done. It's going to be on the outside going into club. Sean White said, I think this tier racing approach is the next step. Really good competition. Absolutely right. So if you guys don't know, RWB this league, this season, we've done a tiered approach. Normally we just race everyone in the same lobby, have 80-something cars. This league, we decided to do a tiered approach. So there was a hot stint. What a hot stint was 5 consecutive laps. You had to do 5 laps. The average lap time of those 5 laps was then considered the top 33, 35 guys. They were tier 1. Up to, oh, and it looks like Isaac get a better exit through there. Let's see if he pulls up ahead. Oh, a little too far back, still a little too far back. Get a little bit too excited through here. But the hot stint, the average lap time, the 35 through 70, they were tier 2. And the last half of the guys, they were tier 3. But it's really created a new dynamic for RWB racing. A lot of really close racing, like you can see right here. We're 75 minutes in. Anything could happen. 9 minutes to go, and these guys are on bumper to bumper. Just a status update. Why we keep the camera here, guys, I just want to tell you guys, RWB Rogers back up into P1. Someone must have done their pit. Ronnie Rock is still P2, but I believe he has to do his mandatory pit. Johan is up into P3. And it looked like Isaac got maybe a better exit out of Beckett's, but we'll have to see once they approach Stowe. Isaac, this outside into club. All right, 7 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and finish up our rundown real quick, guys. We'll come back to this battle. In P17, we have Brandon Warren. P18, Greedy Me. P19, Johannes Bergevist. He's P19. P20, Damian Wilk. P21, Tom Proctor. P22, Gotham Cernason. P23, RWB Alwyn. P24, Al Gartner. P25, Sergey Ragnathman. P26, Lee Cushing. P27, Antonio. He is doing his mandatory pit. Unfortunately, he did have the 2 penalties, so he's lost a lot of positions there. And P28, P29, P30, BGB British, P28 Pinpoint, P30 is Jixer. They're both retired from this race, so we have 3 retirements so far. Let's go back on board with Isaac and watch that battle. Oh, and he got the position done. Let's go back 30 seconds to see if we can see what happened here. Oh, and it looks like he got it done into Maggots and Stowe. So unfortunately, we did lose that pass. We wanted to brush you guys down on what the status update is, but he did get that position done. He's up into P15 now. Xavier Eugene's up into P16. So he's lost 2 positions, unfortunately. It looks like those tires are really affecting Xavier. Not sure if the M4 is just a little bit harsher on the tires, but it's definitely losing a little bit of pace. Going back to the front runner, 6 minutes to go, guys. Possible rain in the next 10, or, you know, right now to the next 10 minutes. Track temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. Ambience 22. It does look like it's maybe raining because the track went from optimum grip down to fast, so it definitely lost a little bit of grip. Not seeing any rain droplets on the windshield, but we'll have to ask them at the end of the race. So Johan's a good 5, 6 seconds back, unfortunately. Really cost him to do that undercut. Looks like Rigel just got to keep it nice and consistent and keep it on the track. Yeah, 23-second gap between Johan. Probably just cost him a lot of time trying to get through the traffic. When he did that undercut, when he came back out, he was in P8, I think. And you really have to fight through the traffic. And these guys are all racing for position. They are a blue flag. They understand that, but they're gonna do so in a way that doesn't affect them as much, like any real racing. So you just have to be patient and make your move when you can. See if we can find any close battles. Looks like Thomas Warden is in P3 right now. He's in that McLaren. He was one of the two that qualified on the second row. So glad to see the McLaren up front. It looks like the Porsche is a really strong car, a really good BOP. They're taking the 1 and 2 right now. Let's go on board with FX. Looks like there's a battle between him and RWB Beer. There's about 2 tenths that separate these two. That Jeanette is getting a little bit loose through there. Let's see if FX can make something happen in the next 4 minutes. You can see the draft is really strong through here. They're going down Hangar straight. FX is making some speed on Beer. He's got the outside through Stowe. He's going to have to back off, though. Beer goes wide. That's going to cost him. FX gets on the outside. They're going into club side by side. And FX gets it done. He's going to be up into P11 now. Goes a little bit wide, though. Commentator's curse. Beer gets it done. He takes it inside onto the right before Abby's on that initial straight. Let's watch these two for a little bit. Looks like FX is going to be a very cautious right behind Beer right now. 2 minutes, still a few laps to get it done. Don't see any rain right now, but it might come into effect. I know that Janetta struggles a little bit on the rain. He's keeping it right behind him. You know Beer's feeling that pressure right now. Let's go on board with Beer and watch that rear view camera. FX getting a little bit wide there on the exit of Maggots. Gets a little bit wide through here. FX makes a move. They're going to go side by side down into club. And with 1 minute and 30 seconds, you definitely got to wonder if these guys are going to start getting a little bit more aggressive in the finishing lap of this race. FX got a pretty good exit going through Abby's. Just not enough straight there to get anything done, though. Yeah, Sean White said he's great on defense, and that's absolutely true. You can tell RW Beers has been putting that car exactly where he needs to. FX gets a good run down the Wellington straight there. He's going to be on the outside going into Brooklands. Looks like Beer overslowed the car. See what happens going through Luffield. But yeah, Beer's absolutely great at putting that car exactly where he needs to. Just puts it, where you just can't get a good run on him, which is exactly what you want out of a great defensive driver. He's not blocking anyone. He's just making it, hey, if you want to get around me, you got to put the extra effort in. So he's been really good hanging on to this position. It's actually an absolute wonderful race to watch between these two. So the race is over there. One more lap after they cross the finish line, I believe. But they're definitely going to have to make a move here pretty soon. All right, and that is the race, guys. In P1, we have RWB Rigel. These guys are still battling all up into the last second. I'm kind of scared to change the camera because I want to watch to see if anything happens here on this last lap. Johan Peterson just crossed the line. He is in P2. So Porsche takes it P1 and P2 through this race. Thomas Wardman, who's in P3, he's just took the McLaren. FX goes a little bit wide down there. That's going to cost him. Darren Mullen, he just crossed the line. He is in P4. RWB Audi is in P5. P6 is going to be Matt Tarbuck. He's in the McLaren. P7 is, Matt Tarbuck is in the Aston. P7 is Mohamed Corolla. He's in the McLaren. Carlos Barros is the P8. He's in McLaren. P9 is the BMW. And WFX makes the move. He gets it. He absolutely takes that position from RWB on the last lap. He took P10 there. Absolute amazing race to watch between those two. Carlos Barros is the P8. P9 is Ronnie Rocket. P10 FX, awesome battle between him and Beer. Beer's in P11. Karen Luden, who's in P12. P13 Andy, who's our debug. P14 Brandon Warren. P15 RWB Isaacs. P16 Xavier Eugene. P17 Johan Bergevist. P18 Damian Wilk. P19 Tom Proctor. P20 Mark Bean. P21 Gotham Service on. P22 RWB Alwyn. P23 is Greedamine. P24 Al Gardner. P25 Sergey Ragnathman. P26 RWD Gunpowder. P26 is Lee Cushing. P27 is Antonio Guarda. P28 is a retirement. He was our BGB British. P29 is Pinpoint. He is a retirement. And P30 was Jixer. He was also a retirement. Absolute marvelous race to watch here at Silverstone, guys. Please hang tight. We are going to try to get the top 3 guys in: RWB Rigel, Johan Peterson, and Thomas Wardman here on the stream. If you guys have any questions, let us know, but we're going to go ahead and try to pull them in. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Just took me a few seconds here. We're gonna go ahead and get these guys here in the comms channel. We're gonna go ahead and move them in. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. But we'll see what the race was from their point of view.
Hello.
Hey guys, absolute marvelous race to watch, you guys. You guys have the stream here with you. I want to ask you guys a few questions. Rigel Peterson, it looked like the Porsche was really strong here. Rigel, it looked like you got out on qualifying, got out early on the race. You took P1, you kind of got out there really quick in the race. What was the Porsche like in your hands? Was it easy to maintain over the Silverstone course, or was it getting a little tricky near the end?
No, it was pretty good all the way through. I think towards the end, the doubt starts creeping in of how well are the tyres lasting, because I didn't change the tyres at the stop, and it's a fairly abrasive track, so I was thinking just a little bit of doubt popping into your head, but no, just kept it steady. Early on in the race, I know Pettersson was quicker than me, so I was lucky to get out in front. There's one moment where he did manage to get alongside, or perhaps his nose in front, and I went wide because I just missed the corner. I'm not sure really whether I needed to give the place back or not. I mulled it over in my head, and I didn't want to distract things at the time by saying no, take it or whatever, and just get all confused. But I think in the end, the strategy was the winner. I don't know whether Pettersson changed tyres or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like you guys had slightly different strategies. It looked like Pettersson took an earlier undercut type of strategy. Did that have you nervous at all when you were staying on track for much longer?
Oh, well, after he'd given me the place back, I made my mind up. One or two things. I thought, either he's going to pit and he's going to be quicker and he's going to be ahead after I've done my pit stop, or he's going to catch me up anyway. And if he does get an opportunity to take the position, then I wouldn't really put up too much of a fight because he's already been quite generous. So yeah, but then the pit strategies in the GT4s are a new thing to everybody. You can take the option of taking tyres or not taking tyres, or putting how much fuel in or what have you. So I think everybody's getting their head around that, and I think I just picked the right one this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congrats on the P1 for Silverstone, the round 2. You got 1 and 2 in the bag now. Good luck into P3 and enjoy the win for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Will do. Thanks.
Johan Pettersson, congrats on P2, man. Absolute fantastic race to watch between you and Rigel. Rigel did mention you did give the position back after you made a move. What was the reason behind that? Did you feel like you went a little bit loose through there, caused a little bit of an incident? Oh, we do not hear you, Johan. I don't know if you have your mic muted.
Maybe now?
Yeah, got you.
Yep, we got you now.
Yeah. I felt that I went a little bit too wide, and I might have pushed him, so I decided to let him go, just to be safe.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was awesome racecraft. We actually watched that on stream, and a lot of people commenting, how awesome it was to see you guys battling the whole race, and you to have that racecraft to give that position back after that incident. One thing I do want to ask is, you did take the undercut type strategy. You did pit a lot earlier than Rigel did. Do you feel, what was your justification for taking the undercut? Did you think it was going to play to your advantage, and why did it not pan out the way you thought it would?
Yeah, exactly. I thought I would gain a few seconds on him, since I felt a little bit quicker at the moment, but I messed up my pit stop big time, so so it didn't work.
Yeah, it looked like maybe when you got out, you got behind a little bit more traffic than Rigel. And do you think that maybe played an effect at all? Just that you had to work your back way through the field. That's a little bit more than Rigel did.
Yeah, surely, but the entry was also very bad. So so there were two things.
Awesome. Well, congrats on P2. I hope you enjoy it. Definitely scored a lot of good points through there. But thank you for joining us, and enjoy the victory.
Thanks.
All right, guys, that's going to include Thomas Wardman did get P3, but unfortunately he's not on the Discord, so we'll have to interview him at another point in time. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys like this stream, be sure to hit the channel with a like and subscribe or a follow. And if you watch this stream and you say, hey, how do I get involved with RWB? You know, this racing looks really organized. It looks really fun to race in. Be sure to check out our website. Our website is linked in the description for this video below, but you can sign up for these leagues. You can join. We take pretty much anyone. We have people all throughout the country. I'm from the United States, so we have a lot of people in the UK or the Europe. So just all over, but just be sure to check us out, guys. There's no point in racing alone. So don't race alone, race RWB. That's going to conclude the race, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it and have a good rest of your week. Bye.